If you feel like, oh my God, I can't do that. That's going to be so stressful. I'm going to be taking so many risks. I'm not going to be able to handle that. And all that doubt, fear, and worry just seeps right in and like crushes the dream.
It's the last place we go. We think it's in the money, we think it's in the girls, we think it's in the guys, we think it's in the cars, we think it's in the physique, we think it's in all these things. We think all these things are designed to bring us peace of mind.
But when I would hit that stage where like flamehead would kick in, I fortunately worked in an environment where there was this beautiful garden behind the building.
So your mind starts to take a thought trip from the now into the future, which then brings that fearful thought into the now, which then creates anxiety in the body. Hi, I'm Dave Conway, and I'm here with my wife, Jacqueline. Welcome to the 30-Day Year. On this podcast, we're sharing stories, ideas, and philosophies to show you what it takes to turn your annual income into your monthly income. I've learned that the first step to creating a 30-day year is entertaining new ideas that might at first appear strange or even laughable. But stick with us as we reveal that this idea is a very real way to build success. Our plan is to spark curiosity into what you're capable of achieving by exploring ideas around freedom, contribution, work, life, everything. The content may even disturb your perception of life a bit too, which we hope it does. This podcast is not about us, it's all about you. So sit back, relax, and come in with an open mind. Welcome to the 30-Day Year.
My friend has the funniest way of explaining to me when she's stressed out. And she says, Jack, I'm on the struggle bus. And I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. And I know what that's like to feel like you're on the struggle bus. Like we all go through stressful moments in life, and who doesn't have stress? Like it's not unique to entrepreneurs. It's not unique to people in working in medical fields. It's not unique to anybody. We all have felt stress at some point. And I actually think there's, healthy amounts of stress too, because sometimes it can kind of be an action-oriented state. It's when it becomes too much that it becomes chronic, or it becomes all the time, or it starts to deteriorate our relationships, our life, our all quality of life, everything. So talking about stress is so important, and uncovering maybe some ways that we can just become more self-aware, that we can learn to almost self-coach ourselves through those stressful moments, I think is so valuable and so important. I know I used to struggle a lot with anxiety. I used to have panic attacks. I would be in hospitals and I would be like, why the heck am I here? And getting tested by all kinds of doctors telling me I'm perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with you. It's all psychosomatic. So I know better than anyone, stress can be just a killer, and it can be kind of annoying. This is annoying. I don't want to feel this way. I want to feel good about what I'm doing. I want to feel good every day. I don't want to feel stressed. And I think one of the first things to realize is that we can choose again. We don't have to be stressed, but it can sometimes feel like there's no other way. So we want to uncover and share that there's ways to break that cycle, and that there's different ways to operate.
Yeah, I think that stress comes from wanting to be somewhere other than you are. I think that's where anxiety stems from too. Mm-hmm. It's let's say you have a big assignment or project due tomorrow and you don't think you have enough time, you'll start getting stressed and you'll start to create a pressure, like a mental pressure. Mm-hmm. Or let's say your flight was canceled and you want to be home for Christmas. Mm-hmm. You'll start to get stressed because you want to be somewhere else. I think that's the cause of most stress, if not exclusively. It's you want to be somewhere else.
Yes.
You want to be experiencing something else. So there's a disconnect between where you are and where you desire to be.
Totally. And I think there's a strong connection just between paradigm here. The way we've been programmed, the way we've been raised, we can be programmed to be in stressful states, and also to think that oh, in order for me to get this done, I have to be stressed. In order for me to be successful, I have to be stressed. And that I don't think is a conscious choice. I think that's been something that's been passed along from environmental factors. Maybe you work in the stress case law firm. Maybe you had a stressed out dad, a stressed out mom. Like maybe that you grew up in a stressful environment and stress like just kind of made its way into your mind without you necessarily knowing it. So I think today we're going to get into like, how can we first maybe uncover what might be unconscious right now for you and make it conscious. Like maybe there are some things that are backing your stress you're not even aware of.
Yeah, it's like can stress just be a paradigm?
Yes, I believe it to 100% in a lot of cases just be a paradigm. And then also, well, is it necessary? Is there another way we can operate? Is there other ideas we can adopt around the whole thing? So when I think about past, experiences I've had with anxiety and stress, I couldn't tell you why for a very long time. Why I was having panic attacks, why I felt stressed all the time, why I felt that way. I just felt bad. I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you, Dave, that I wanted to be in Bermuda instead of where I was. I couldn't tell you that.
Right.
I just knew that I felt stressed. I just felt it, and I couldn't articulate it. It was just in me. And it took a long time to actually figure out what it was. It was from actually understanding that it's really the root back to fear. It's like some type of a fear is just really nestled into my subconscious mind, and this is how it's manifesting. So in my case, it was financial stress. I was like, or fear of financial, or poverty actually is the fear. If you read Think and Grow Rich, he goes into what the major fears are that most human beings suffer from. In my case, it was fear of poverty. And I could see how that manifested into overworking. It manifested into taking on more than I needed to. It manifested into feeling like I actually should be somewhere that I'm not. So back to what you said, like I felt like, oh, I should be working in a bigger company to make more money because that's what I should be doing so that I'm not poor. instead of like working for a company that is probably paying me what I was worth at the time because I was just a greenhorn and didn't know very much yet. So, it's a big conversation. And I think lots of people that suffer from it don't always know why. And that's a whole evolution and a process for anyone to go through to uncover what it is. But the biggest one, I think, the biggest belief around stress that I think we need to break and we need to kind of pattern interrupt is that the belief that stress is necessary for achievement, or stress is necessary for achieving a 30-day goal. And we want to disrupt that if you feel that way. If you feel like, oh my God, I can't do that. That's going to be so stressful. I'm going to be taking so many risks. I'm not going to be able to handle that. And all that doubt, fear, and worry just seeps right in and like crushes the dream. We don't want that to happen. We want to express that there's other ways. And I know that there are other ways of living, other ways of going after success. So I want to ask you, how can we break the belief that stress is necessary for achievement?
The saying, pressure makes diamonds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think stress has a two-part, like it's just like anything, has a good and a bad. If you want to grow your muscles, you have to put them under stress.
That's true.
Right? You have to push them to the limit. So then the muscle's like, whoa, we don't like failing because life itself is a success mechanism. So you put the muscle under stress, you take it to the limit, then the muscle's like, whoa, shoot, we don't want this ever to happen again. We don't want to not be able to lift this amount. We got to survive. We got to live on this planet. So we're going to grow. So stress can create growth in that way. Now, there's another kind of stress that I really do believe is needless. Mm-hmm. And that is mental. That is mental. So when you think about like fear and anxiety, as I said earlier, anxiety is produced when you wish to be physically, or you wish to be somewhere other than you are. And it would appear that time is coming at you and you don't have enough time to produce that next objective. That can cause stress.
Yep, totally.
And fear is similar, because fear is when you leave the ever-present now, the calm now, you leave the now, and you move into the future. So your mind starts to take a thought trip from the now into the future, which then brings that fearful thought into the now, which then creates anxiety in the body. So this kind of stress I don't think is necessary. And I used to have anxiety all the time too. I used to suffer with it as well. And I really don't anymore, because I've begun to understand that everything's all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Ireland, they say this to the children: "You're all right. You're all right."
I have a joke I tell, and my daughter Lily does it better than anyone. What's the difference between a Canadian and an Irish person? So the Canadian goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm just, oh, so sorry. And then the Irish guy goes, "You're all right."
So the Canadian shows up late to the party. "Oh, sorry, man. Like traffic was terrible tonight and had to get this. I was running a little bit behind work and I had to pick up a few of the kids and you know." And then the Irishman's just sitting there like, "You're all right."
Just take a beat. It's all fine. If you ever get the chance to meet our daughter Lily Conway, ask her to do that sketch for you. She does it better than anyone.
That's right. So yeah, it's like when the mind leaves the now, when there's a part of you that believes you're not okay, when there's a part of you, when your ego kicks in and thinks you're the center of the universe, which you are the center of your own universe, but you think you're the center of the universe for everyone. I call it the thinking you're the second coming of Jesus Christ syndrome. And to understand that as one side, you are very, very important. You're beautiful. You're special. You're important. And on the other side, you're just the part of a greater divine plan. So humility can produce peace of mind, and knowing who you are and who you work for and what you're up to, and to know that there's a power that will produce all of that for you. And you can just enjoy your life. I don't want to say I'm on a mission or something like that, but maybe I am. Hey, I don't know. You know, I think it's important that people start to understand that they can grow rich with peace of mind. You know, I have a client, a top female athlete in the WNBA, and we talk about stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that basically every top performer that she knows, they're all miserable. Like, what are they chasing? You know, James Allen says this. He says, serenity, the last lesson of culture. It's the last place we go. We think it's in the money. We think it's in the girls. We think it's in the guys. We think it's in the cars. We think it's in the physique. We think it's in all these things. We think all these things are designed to bring us peace of mind. And understand that peace of mind is only found from having a connection with a power greater than yourself. And to understand that everything's all right. You're all right.
You're all right. All roads lead to the mind.
All roads lead to mind, yeah.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it? That's really sad to hear that so many at those high levels are miserable.
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
You know, because to get to these levels, like, you have to be obsessive.
You do.
And to get to these levels, like, there's got to be some, like, interesting level of desire and ambition and drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy what kind of motives actually are driving that stuff. A lot of it is anger-based, fear-based, not good enough. Like, there's all kinds of motives that come out of it.
That's
and,
right.
you know, just observe how many celebrities, how many successful people, like, you know, a lot of them commit suicide and all kinds of sad things.
Yeah, totally. Talk to me about a flow state. How do we find a flow state in our work so that we can perhaps avoid, well, I don't want to say avoid stress, but just like rise above it?
Well, yeah, you want to be able to maintain your balance, right?
Yeah.
So
how have you found that for yourself, Dave?
Yeah, well, you don't want to. I used to be very reactive to life.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had a bunch of clients, like when I was in construction, and I had all these clients, and they were just ruining my life, you know.
Damn
It
it.
was them that was the problem. And all these people ruining my life. And one of them decided to really ruin my life and sent me a message. And I got so angry. I punched down on my desk and I broke my hand. This is an adult, you know, like I was like 32 years old, for crying out loud. Word to the wise, don't punch down on a desk over the leg. You know, it's not going to go anywhere.
If you're still in that state, y'all, just heed Dave's advice. He's been there too.
So I had to learn through calming down and learning that nothing that this world has to offer is worth my peace of mind. Nothing.
It's a powerful lesson. I remember sitting in my desk. I used to work in music marketing, and I felt I was kind of like an epicenter for a lot of people when it was like go time. So there could be anywhere from like 20 to 30 people like calling me, emailing me, needing something from me in the matter of an hour. And there'd be times, and sometimes, you know, most of the time it was fine, positive stuff, just deal, all good. But then there's, you know, the cage rattler, like the client that made you punch your hand in your desk. Mm-hmm. And you would spike the cortisol even higher than it already was. And he'd be like, ah! You know that character in Inside Out, the anger one, where the flame head, you know, anger. His name's Anger. The anger head would set flame, and he'd be like, "Oh my God!" He just it was just too much, you know, given all the different things you're managing. And I think instruction is like this a lot. I'm sure when you were managing, you'd have like 150 calls a day on your phone. It would blow my mind that was your life every day. I couldn't imagine. This was only for
now
like
I'm lucky to get 150 calls a year.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I would have probably about an 8-week period of that craziness, but then it wouldn't be like that all the time. But when I would hit that stage where like flamehead would kick in, I fortunately worked in an environment where there was this beautiful garden behind the building. And I would go to that garden. It was on the river. And I would starfish on the grass. And I would like stare at the sky. And it would just bring me back down. And really what it was is I was just kind of neutralizing my nervous system, just bringing myself back down and grounding myself, reminding myself like none of this is that big of a deal, really. And just relax.
Yeah, relax.
Relax. It's just fine. When we hit those like really high stressy times, it's because like we got these hormones pumping, like the cortisol is high. And our brain almost can't balance itself until we consciously choose to relax. It's not going to do it for us. We have to say, nope, I'm just going to park it. I'm going to go chill, get myself back down to where I need to be, and then I'll come deal with this. We've all been in those situations. You get the bad text, the bad phone call, and you react, and you kind of rise to the occasion and shoot out some bad energy, right? That's happened to me before, and you always regret it. You're like, no, you just got to like let it simmer and then come back with fresh eyes, with a fresh perspective, right?
Yeah. So like from going from a reactive person to a responsive person,
Yeah,
I think is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And how do we do that? Well, we got to learn to calm the mind down. Like the calm mind is a very easy mind to direct. Mm-hmm. Anger, very hard to control. Guilt, very hard to control. Resentment, very hard to control. Stress, very hard to control. Fear, very hard to control. Impossible to control.
yeah, especially if you don't know it's there.
That's right. So it's the calm mind that is easy to control, easy to direct. It almost directs itself. So your question was about flow state. Mm-hmm. Well, flow state has a calmness to it. I look at flow state like a calm productivity where you're sinking every shot, you're closing every deal, and you're calm about it. Mm-hmm. You're not running anywhere. Everything's in its right perspective. Everything seems easy. Everything seems large. Back to this client, she was talking about the flow state when she was playing basketball. And she says it's like everything's slowed down. All the other players are moving like 80% slower than her. And the basket and the net, and the basketball net is like 4 feet. And she just can't miss. Mm. And in her whole life, she said that she's experienced it, I think, a couple times. You know, and we can drop into these states of mind, and it is a state of mind. And calmness of mind to find that calmness, to find that peace. So understand that your mind operates on a polarity. So if there's a chaotic and a stressed mind, by law, there must be a calm mind.
Therein is the antidote to stress.
That's right.
A peaceful mind.
That's right. I was doing a seminar called Prosperity with Purpose. It was on prosperity. And this was my fastest crier. So like all of our events, there's always like tissue paper.
Yes.
There's tissue, folks. Right now, there's tissue paper on this table
Yeah.
as we record this podcast because Jack cries during it.
I cry all the time, but I hide it so well.
Yeah, T-Bone always has a couple boxes ready for
Thanks,
her.
T-Bone. Appreciate it. If you hear the sniffles, that's all it is.
So I make a lot of people cry during the events, and I think it's because I think it's releasing of stress for them. But I think that what happens is we start talking about that calmness, finding that calmer mind, like breaking that shell so they stop suppressing themselves. And I was doing this talk in London, Ontario, and it was my fastest crier. Like this, I had a person, I want to be clear with this. I am not going out there on the stage being like, I'm going to make someone cry today. You know,
Right,
that's
yeah.
never the intention.
Yeah.
But it definitely does happen a lot. And I had this lady crying, I don't know, 2 minutes in. And all I did,
That's fast.
it was my fastest crier.
Yep.
And I forget the heck question I asked everyone, but I went down into the crowd and I stood, she was on my left and I put my hand on her and she was stressed. And I said, "You're stressed." And she said, "I'm very stressed." I said, "Here, I'll show you something about yourself. I'll show you that there's a calm mind." So what I got her to do is I put my hand on her shoulder and I just got her to close her eyes. And in that moment that as a person closes their eyes, they can capture calmness. They can capture the nothingness. And I told her, I said, become aware that the whole universe is inside of you. And the listener can do this right now too. Become aware that as you close your eyes, that the whole universe is inside of you. There's no walls. It's just infinite. And it's large, and that's the real you. And become aware of as you start to rest in that idea, in that feeling, that automatically a calmness is present. This is what they call meditation. And I brought that lady into that space. She just started bawling. It's just a release of all that energy. You see, she was stressed when I saw her, and just instantly, she automatically started to become calm and relaxed. So to know that there is a calm mind inside everyone, it's just how your paradigm is programmed to handle stress. Every day, I spend 45 minutes relaxing my mind in a trance. I go into a hypnotic state and I relax the mind. It is exceptional for results. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life was to learn that I could create success in a relaxed state of mind. Because we're trained to drive, we're trained to go hard, we're trained to do. Get out there and do it, go get it, you know? Well, I lived like that for I lived like that for 15 years. And it never worked. Almost killed myself. A lot of us think that working harder is the way to create success. I'm going to tell you right now, it's got nothing to do with success. It's your state of mind that creates success. So as you learn, and you do have to learn, as you learn to calm your mind, as you create that space, what's that one lady that got like pretty famous in the personal development industry, blonde lady? She had the like 5-second rule or something.
Oh, Mel Robbins.
Yeah, Mel Robbins. Like that's what she was saying, right? Like I've never heard her actually, but I'm assuming this is what she's saying, that in every moment there's a space. Take 5 seconds to make that space. Now you can respond to life. In every moment there's a space. So to understand there's always a calm mind. Even as I'm talking about the calm mind, I'm becoming calmer as I'm talking.
I'm so calm.
That's right.
I'm very calm.
T-Bone's half asleep, drool dripping down his lip.
Maybe don't be driving listening to this conversation. You might be too relaxed. But there's a lot of things I loved that you said. And one question or one thought that comes to mind is that how do we handle adversity? Because adversity will keep coming. Challenges will keep coming. And we don't always know when they're going to come and what shape and form they're going to come. And we just have to learn to stay almost neutral as they are presented to us.
That's right.
So that we can become the responder and not the reactor.
So there's another school of thought around this calmness and desirelessness, where you remove stress from your life by removing ambition from your life, where you remove goals, you remove these things from your life. And almost think of it like this. It's like, let's say you have an 8-lane highway, and every lane you can go, lane 1 is 100 miles an hour, lane 2 is 200, lane 3 is 300, and all the way up to, lane 8 is 800 miles an hour. And if you're going to drive in that lane, then you must drive at that limit. So let's say you've got a person that's in the 100 mile an hour lane. They're calm, they're cool as a cucumber. They're drinking their coffee, smoking their cigarette, driving with their knee, super easy. And this person might say to you, oh, you ask them, are you calm? And they're like, oh, I'm very calm. Are you in control? Oh yeah, I'm in control. Okay, go over into the 300 mile an hour lane. And if you move them over there, they'd become tense. It's the same as like you can be cool as a cucumber driving on the highway. As soon as you start passing like a semi truck or something, you become very, very attentive. You become very focused, and let's get honest, you become stressed. Mm-hmm. Right? So you're like, right? So the stress. So I'm not saying stress is outright bad. There's parts of it. I think most of it that we're experiencing that is killing us is unnecessary, and it is killing us. But then you go over to the 300 mile an hour lane. There could be a person in there smoking a cigarette, drinking a coffee, talking on the phone. Maybe it's a woman doing her makeup, cruising at 300 miles an hour, sleeping at the wheel. It's totally calm. You go up to that person, you say, hey, are you calm? Oh, yeah, I'm calm. All right, go over into the 800 mile an hour lane. That person would become stressed. So I don't think that the removal of going into different lanes and moving at different speeds is the answer. We have to learn, like an astronaut, we have to learn to relax into our ideas. It's like so much training, so much understanding. You look at some of those videos of astronauts breaking through the atmosphere, the flippin' ship is on fire. Mm-hmm. It's like literally on fire. It's like rattling, it's shaking, it's on fire, and there they are, calm. Because if they're not calm, they're not in control. And it's life and death. And the truth is, this isn't exclusive to astronauts. It's just that the stress that we're experiencing, it's slowly killing us. It's slowly killing us. It's a habit. Stress is a habit.
It is. It is a habit. And we don't always know it's a habit.
No,
but we have to look at our patterns.
Yeah, you got to get honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. But to know that there is a calm mind, that was a huge thing for me to realize. As I started to learn, as I started to learn and be educated around meditation, I started to realize, wow, there's actually a calm Dave in there. There's a calm Conway in there. Mm-hmm. While prior, there's a quite reactive, frustrated, angry Conway. Mm-hmm. Does he still come out every now and then? Sure. But, I don't know, 1,000 times less.
Mm-hmm. With a lot more insight, too,
Jack,
I'd say.
Even in the beginning, I want to talk about this peace of mind journey, my calmness journey.
Yeah, I think that I was going to ask you about that.
Even when I first started to experience it, I started to think like it was actually so foreign that I started to like, is this really like, will this work? Like, this can't be how you get results. Like, this can't be.
Learning to relax, you mean?
Yeah, like because because it almost feels like there's some inactivity. But it's interesting because when my client was talking about the basketball, she said when she's in the flow state, everything slows down.
Interesting. How so? Like the way people move around her? Like her whole perception?
Yeah. Her perception, like everything slows down. So all the other moves, I would assume that all the other moves of the opponent become obvious. They become predictable. And then the basket grows 4 times bigger. So it's like she's in this state of mind that everything just becomes calmer, slower, and she has a certainty to her. You see, if you don't have certainty, you can't be calm. Like that's what it is. That's fear. Fear is where you can't control the outcome. This is a massive idea. Like, you probably need like 10 hours on it, but
it is huge. And it reminds me of the concept we shared at an event recently about egg wisdom, like the eggs in the womb of a woman. When they come out and they release, they're calm, they're relaxed. They just move along, they do their thing. They're on their own schedule. They have certainty and they move with fluidity. It's an idea I read in a book a few years ago, and I thought it was such an interesting idea, this idea of egg wisdom. So women out there, you've got egg wisdom in you right now. And men,
what about sperm wisdom?
Sperm wisdom's a little more crazy. It's not, no one talks about it. It's not as majestic. But, you know, it's good for a laugh for sure. But
Jack says there's no such thing as sperm wisdom, only sperm energy.
That's right. That's exactly
there
it.
Is no wisdom.
I'm pretty sure I said that to you earlier today. So, you know, I love that. And I
like
love
sperm wisdom.
Sperm wisdom. And, you know,
140 million just
just buzzing around, buzzing like bees. Calm productivity, relax into ideas. You know, finding like this flow state. All of this just sounds so great. And I mean, I have ideas on how I find a flow state, and I know for myself, and you know, others I'm sure will respond or be resonant with this too. I have to create order around myself when I work. I find a flow state when I can do that. When my desk space is tidied up, when I've got, you know, some clarity about what I'm needing to get done. That helps me find that flow state. And I can just sit down. I put my like massive earphones on. I listen to a concentration meditation track while I work, and I can hammer out like a ton of work. And honestly, if I can find that space for myself, I can probably get like probably 10 hours worth of work done in 2 hours, because I can just sit down, I can just focus, I can just get it done. But to find that space took a long time for me. I know one thing that I had done when I was pregnant was actually hypnobirthing, which is like a form of hypnotherapy. And you work with a guide, and she helps walk you into states of relaxation, and you can do daily meditations as well, which I did. And I remember after my first experience with it, I was like, I've never felt more relaxed from doing that. And just recently I got back into it. You mentioned you live in a trance state, like 40 minutes of the day. Finding a practice that helps you relax to find that space within is just invaluable. And I know we've done meditation work together as well, and there's been such huge benefits from that too, learning how we need to refine our nervous systems.
It's a proven fact that the subconscious mind is more suggestible when the conscious mind has been relaxed or removed. So if you want to start to impress new ideas, new images, new way of life on your subconscious mind, you get put into a relaxed or hypnotic state, you can start to impress it on there.
Exactly.
That's right. So this once you're calm and relaxed, you've way more control to influence yourself. And I'll never forget, because everything's relative, right? Like if you've never, let's say a person has never felt calm in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think many have. Let's say a person's never felt calmness, they wouldn't have anything to relate it to. When I started to meditate, I got trained by a man, 2 men actually, Malcolm and Troy out of Australia, Streamline Meditation. Go check Go check out their website, Streamline Meditation. Malcolm and Troy, just gems, absolute gems. And Troy, within 2 minutes, he introduced me to this part of my mind that was pure consciousness, pure calmness within like under 2 minutes of talking to him. Mm-hmm. And once I felt that, I still have that same feeling right now as I'm talking to you. And that was about 5 years ago.
Wow.
I can recall it at any moment. I have it on this podcast right now. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know what it feels like, if you've got no one bringing you into it, if you've got no one introduced, like you're sharing with your hypnotic thing, with your hypnotic experience, not your hypnotic thing, your hypnotic experience is like, you can recall that, right? Mm-hmm. That's right. So if you experience a calm mind, if you start to meditate, you can start to experience it. When you experience it, you can recall it or recall it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of us just don't know any other way. I know I didn't. I'd never been introduced to the calm version of Dave, ever.
No, me neither, truly. Like that was not really something that I was familiar with, but it's such a beautiful thing to find. And I'll shout out Amanda at Elevation Hypnosis who worked with me through hypnobirthing. I think it's a powerful gateway if you're pregnant to start down this path to help you learn how to relax, to get ready for giving birth. But it's basically choosing peace over struggle. And so I think it's really a journey, Dave. Like, I don't know if you can say that you really created a massive change for yourself overnight. So was it like this culmination of experiences that just helped you learn more about yourself? You adopted some practices. How did you begin to find the peace of mind to help you manage the stress and anxiety?
Yeah, daily practices. Just kept daily practices of meditation, visualization, consciously learning how to relax, learn how to make space in between when I'm about to say something, or if something disturbs me. I think one of the greatest things that has brought me peace of mind is the awareness that my life is being produced by me. So it's like I'm the center of my universe, and then the universe is flying around me. You know, I'm the sun of my own solar system. Mm-hmm. So to know that, well, if I'm experiencing something, that means that there's something in me, probably unconsciously, that's producing that. And to know that there's a power that will start to refine me and remove that thing when that thing is meant to be removed. So I don't got to run in there like a, bat out of hell or bull in a china shop and go like changing everything really fast. I used to be more like that. And there's a lady that works with us, Amelia, and Jack will vouch for this too, but Amelia will definitely will. Like, I used to get really like rammy, and I'm just not that way.
Nope, you've changed a lot when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. Definitely found more peace and serenity.
Yeah, because I just know that the image in my head must produce at some point. It's not my job to know when. I just know that it will. So I'm all right. I'm all right.
He's all right, everybody. And so are you. Everybody is all right. So I hope there were some good tactical pieces in there for you to take a hold of. And just know that by law, if there's a stressed out mind, there's also a calm mind. And you're able to tap into that. Thank you for listening to the 30-Day Year podcast. If you liked this episode, leave us a 5-star review and drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. To learn more about joining a mentorship or attending an event with us, visit conwaymentorship.com. Before our next episode, reflect on what causes you stress. How can you reframe what you've written into something positive? Remember the law of polarity at work here. Where there's a stressed out mind, there's also a calm and serene mind.
Produced at Sound Lounge by T-Bone.